One, let's get started with the testing.
यहाँ नए प्लेयर्स के लिए एक्साइटिंग कॉन्टेस्ट, एक्सपीरियंस प्लेयर्स के लिए हाई स्टेक टूर्नामेंट्स और कैश एक्शन।
One, let's get started with the testing. So, we'll be starting with Claude 4 Sonnet, and then after that we'll be doing Claude 4 Opus.
यहाँ नए प्लेयर्स के लिए
So let me set up the
हाई स्टेक
API details and everything. Just give me a minute, guys. Yeah, so I've got the name. We'll be starting with Claude 4 Sonnet. So I've entered the name Claude Sonnet 4, as you guys can see, and so let me. Okay, so we'll have to just click test all questions, I guess. Just give me a minute. Yeah, so I've got the name. Let's start it. Okay, so it has started. Let's add the logo. Okay, so we'll have to just click test all questions, I guess. Let's start it. Okay, so it has started. Let's add the logo. Let's see, guys, how the test goes. Let's start it. Let's see, guys, how the test goes. Welcome everyone, welcome to the chat. So what do you guys think? Will we cross 50% this time? You can see the highest percentage is 34.3%, and the king being Claude 3.7 Sonnet. But will that change? We'll have to see. Let me adjust things a bit. Okay. I tried Sonnet and it's simply amazing. That's nice to see. By the way, am I audible? Can you guys confirm? I think the music is louder than my voice. I tried Sonnet and it's simply amazing. That's nice to see. By the way, am I audible? Can you guys confirm? I think the music is louder than my voice. Yes, we can hear you. Thank you. So, guys, it was absolutely a banger announcement. I mean, like, in no way did I expect they would release Claude 4 series, and on the other hand, Claude 4 Opus, guys. I mean, like, in no way I would have thought, and the moment I heard it, I got goosebumps, guys. How was your reaction when you heard the announcement? They would release Claude 4 series, and on the other hand, Claude 4 Opus, guys. I mean, like, in no way I would have thought, and the moment I heard it, I got goosebumps, guys. How was your reaction when you heard the announcement? Okay, so Claude 4 Sonnet is averaging around 50%, but we know the percentage will be dropping. I just tried via open router and bought max plan instantly. Okay, so Claude 4 Sonnet is averaging around 50%, but that's nice to see. How are the limits in the max plan? I will have to also look at the credits. So Claude Sonnet most likely will not be a problem, but Claude for Opus will be an issue. Any support from you guys will be welcome, but we'll have to see. This model is very nice and not that pricey, so it should not be an issue. But Claude for Opus is very pricey, guys, very pricey. Any support from you guys will be welcome, but we'll have to see. This model is very nice and not that pricey, so it should not be an issue. But Claude for Opus is very pricey, guys, very pricey. It's just 5x more from the Pro plan. So I don't have the Pro plan actually, and I've heard about the limits on the Claude interface is not that good. So I mostly prefer to use it via the open router whenever I, feel the need of using it or testing the models. Open router, you have the credits, you have a common pool of credits and you can use it for any model. Interface is not that good.
Creators looking for an edge over the competition? Get 50% off and
Testing the models, open router, you have the credits, you have a common pool of credits and you can use it for any model. Okay guys, now the percentage is dropping significantly. We are near Claude 3.5 Sonnet's scores. I mean like Claude 3.7 Sonnet scores. And I think that is something to note, guys. You can see ever so slightly Claude models have been inclined towards coding, and today's event name was also Claude Code. So they are going head on in coding, but other things like intelligence and reasoning, other things, they are not focusing much, I guess. Maybe the reason could be that the models are not performing very good in reasoning. That is the reason they don't want to talk about that. Other things like intelligence and reasoning, other things, they are not focusing much, I guess. Maybe the reason could be that the models are not performing very good in reasoning. That is the reason they don't want to talk about that. Other things like intelligence and reasoning, other things, they are not. Let me change the music. I think this should work. I'm eagerly waiting for the chess match between Claude 4 Opus and OpenAI O3 and Gemini 2.5 Pro as well. I'm eagerly waiting for the chess match between Claude 4 Opus and OpenAI O3 and Gemini 2.5 Pro as well. I don't know, guys. I think Claude Sonnet 4, the new naming scheme is kind of weird. So Claude Sonnet 4, I think, will land somewhere around Claude 3.7 Sonnet. I don't know, guys. Maybe a 1% hike, I guess. That is the current vibes that I'm feeling.
Looking for the best proxy? Data Impulse is here. With us, you get 24/7 news, legally sourced proxies.
It's weird to see so little improvement over time. Yeah, talking about this benchmark, yeah, the models are actually kind of getting stuck around the 34-35% mark. Slowly the percentage points is increasing with Claude 4 Sonnet, and the questions are coming randomly, so it could be that hard questions actually came before, and that's the reason the percentage dropped significantly. All in all, when all the questions are done, we should get a pretty accurate result. What I'm able to see is the average time is kind of less, guys. You can see the average time of Claude 3.7 Sonnet is 15 seconds and 15.20 seconds, and for Claude Sonnet 4 it's somewhere around 12. That is nice. Okay, so now it is in the 40% category and it has nearly surpassed 70 questions. So this means that I think we can see pretty much good improvement, I guess. As I said, I think hard questions actually came before. That is the reason the percentage dropped significantly. It went up to 33%, I guess. But now the percentage is slightly increasing. I think we can see pretty much good improvement, I guess. By the way, guys, what do you think about the latest release from Anthropic, the Claude 4 models? Have you tried it, and what's your reactions on it? But now the percentage is slightly increasing. By the way, guys, what do you think about the latest release from Anthropic, the Claude 4 models? Have you tried it, and what's your reactions on it? If I talk about coding, I guess the best front-end coding model according to me on my website, as I mentioned, is Claude 3.7 Sonnet Thinking. So things should only improve, and again Claude will be the best front-end coding model according to me. We'll have to see is if it's actually able to, dethrone in back-end coding, in reasoning, and in Max. So currently I have mentioned the best Max model as O4 Mini High, and you can see even in the benchmarks. If you have not seen my video, you should see that. I've recently posted a video, covering all the benchmarks, doing a good comparison of the benchmarks, how the Claude 4 models compare to Gemini 2.5 Pro and OpenAI O3. In that you can see, I think the highest scoring model in AIME 2025 is O4 Mini High. And on the second place is Claude 4 Opus. In that you can see, I think the highest scoring model in AIME 2025 is O4 Mini High. And on the second place is Claude 4 Opus. Maybe I was wrong, guys. Maybe we can see a score above 40%. Maybe. And anyways, this is Claude 4 Sonnet. The Opus is just waiting, and it should shatter the benchmark, I guess, and also my credits. Maybe we can see a score above 40%. Maybe. And anyways, this is Claude 4 Sonnet. The Opus is just waiting, and it should shatter the benchmark, I guess, and also my credits. It was worse at different languages. Sonnet 4 can't speak Slovenian that well, but Sonnet 3.7 is fluent. Also, Sonnet 4 was much less accurate at citing exact segments from the text I use. Okay, that is a nice observation. Maybe you can try Claude 4 Opus, because I think for any non-coding task, I guess, Claude 4 Opus should be a good benchmark. I have a theory, guys. What I think is anything that is quantifiable, I mean, like for example Max, or whether it's coding, things like that, I think the smaller models come closer to the larger models. But the more creative the task is, like reasoning and getting creative, in that the newer models are actually, I mean, like the larger models are actually better. You might have seen this trend that when it comes to Max particularly, you can see smaller models are actually outperforming the larger models. This was true with GPT 4.1 mini. It's true with it was, I think, true with O3 mini, I guess. Sorry, O4 mini. O4 mini high is currently the highest rated model when it comes to AIME 2025. So I think for the use case that you are mentioning, I think Claude 4 Opus should be a better model to pick. So I think for the use case that you are mentioning, I think I think the advantages that you get from using a big model is undeniable. I'm waiting to get a GPT 4.5 level reasoning model. I think that will be very nice. And you can see that the current benchmark that we are testing, you can see that there is no reasoning model actually over here. The reason being that it is not generating any kind of thinking tokens or chain of thought tokens, nothing like that. It is just giving us the response, nothing else. So it is kind of a measure of raw intelligence as well, according to me. Maybe GPT 4.5 could have scored higher, but testing that model is above my budget because that model is insanely priced. I mean, like, I can use O3 for my work and it will be still cheaper than GPT 4.5. I know that sounds very weird. It's a reasoning model and it will use too many tokens, but from my using, I have seen that your credits just vanish when you use GPT 4.5. Yeah, the rate limits are crazy. I was trying to use it on open router and I was repeatedly hitting the rate limited. It was saying overloaded. So your credits just vanish when you use GPT 4.5. I mean, the hype is justifiable because they directly went to Claude 4 series. That itself was a crazy move, and directly dropping Claude 4 Opus is, I mean, the moment I heard it, I got goosebumps, guys. I was waiting for Grok 3.5 and that is what I was expecting. I had this slight thought that it is some time, some time has actually passed by since they released Claude 3.7 Sonnet, so a newer model could be around the corner, but I thought it could be Claude 3.8 or 3.9, something like that. I didn't expect Claude 4 and Opus. I mean, like, I thought they just dropped Opus and that was not in their plan. Around the corner, but I thought it could be Claude 3.8 or 3.9, something like that. I didn't expect Claude 4 and Opus. I mean, like, I thought they just dropped Opus and that was not in their plan. Okay, so we are surpassing 120 questions, and this model Claude Sonnet 4 is sustaining the 40% mark, guys. So there are total of 400 questions. So up until this point, we get an average idea that the model is going to be good. So most probably, I guess, Claude 4 Sonnet will rank the first, and I think that will be the shortest time any model has been in the first rank, because it will be followed up by Claude 4 Opus. Yeah, I thought Claude 4 was coming this year, but didn't expect so soon. I think OpenAI will be panicking and they might be thinking of releasing O3 Pro, I guess, because that is what they have now. I don't expect them to release O4. And I think even Grok should now consider releasing. Is it possible that GPT-5 will use AGI? I don't think so. But I think GPT-5 will have some variant of O4, I guess, maybe. They already have O4 in development, so they have to release it. They also have this plan of, combining all models into one. So I think in the family of models that they release, I think O4 will be one of them. And I think GPT 4.5 should be used most probably. GPT 4.5 will be a very good orchestrated. I wonder if OpenAI will release something this week. Yeah, but I think they have just released things. Will they release OpenAI O4? There is very less chance, guys. I think. That will be too soon. If they release it, it's nice for us, but there will be some response, I guess. But what that response will be, we don't know. So, talking about the video, guys, I have uploaded 2 videos. One video is talking about the launch of the Claude 4 Opus and Claude 4 Sonnet models. So, I have read the whole document, so I have summarized the document, what are the releases, and also I have done a comparison of the benchmarks in a good illustrative manner so that it is actually understandable, so we are able to see which is winning, which is losing. So you can watch that video, it's not that long. And one more video that I have released is building apps in Gemini. So these 2 videos, I think it is nice. The reason I was mentioning these 2 videos is because what I dream about is what should happen in GPT-5 is they should have an orchestrated model. I mean, like a model which actually talks to us, and it's a mediator to other reasoning models. So for example, if you might have seen the image generation API and what happens in chatgpt website. So whenever you are generating an image, suppose you hit a rate limit, so you don't see an error message that you have hit the rate limit. Instead, it actually gives you a response that no, you can try after a while. So it is the model actually talking to you. So they can have this kind of mediation. For example, if I am actually chatting with GPT 4.5, we can assume that. Let us think that we are talking to GPT 4.5 and I have to do a reasoning task. So I'll mention I want to get this reasoning task done. So I'll just mention this prompt, and what it does is, instead of the model itself going into that task, it can allocate that task to a reasoning model, for example O3, and O3 will be doing that in background, and meanwhile I can continue my conversation with GPT 4.5, and when the task is done, it gets back with the results. So that will be a very good kind of an interface where you have a orchestrated model, a mediator who mediates every other model. Yeah, I thought Claude could have done something like that. How is the new Claude doing? You can see the percentage. I think we have done 150 questions and the model is sitting somewhere around 37.4%. So we are going to get a new winner, I think, new rank 1, but that will be short-lived most probably, because Claude 4 Opus is just waiting right on the corner. So we are going to get a new They will do very similar to GPT-5 with Claude 5. Yeah, that will be one thing that I wanted to say is now, as they have moved to Claude 4, so now we will have, same numbers comparison, Claude 4 versus O4. But they will most probably release GPT-5, and I think by the time GPT-5 is released, will they release Claude 5? That will be too soon, I guess. They will release intermediary models like 4.5 and other things. I think what they're doing is, they are training a very big model. For example, Claude 4 Opus was into training. They were training this model. And whenever they had checkpoints, they actually used that checkpoint to train a smaller model and give us the different variants of Claude Claude Sonnet. That is 3.5, the newer version, which many people call 3.6 and 3.7. This was the same technique that was used by Meta. So they were training the Behemoth model. So I don't remember they did say GPT-5 midsummer, but we'll have to see. GPT-5 is going to be a very big announcement. I mean, even the people who are not much aware into the AI space, they will be showing keen attention because we are moving from GPT-4 to GPT-5. We'll have to see. GPT-5 is going to be a very big announcement. I mean, even the people who are not much aware into the AI space, they will be showing keen attention because we are moving from GPT-4 to GPT-5. So now the percentage is dropping again. By the way, guys, if it has to actually rank first, it has to get 137 questions correct. It has already got 60, I think. It is close to 60. By the way, guys, if it has to actually rank first, it has to get 137 questions correct. It has already got 60, I think. It is close to 60. I'm wondering where is Grok 3.5, guys. That was the one we were expecting actually, right? Where is Grok 3.5? I think at least Elon Musk should now feel to release the model. That was the one we were expecting actually, right? Where is Grok 3.5? I think at least Elon Musk should now feel to release the model. I would say tomorrow, Grok. That will be nice. I have to shoot the comparison video between Gemini 2.5 Pro, OpenAI O3 and Claude 4 Opus. It will be so bad if I just shoot that video and the moment I upload that video, they release Grok 3.5. That will be so bad, guys. I would say tomorrow, Grok, yeah. Also, where is DeepSeek R2? Yes, DeepSeek R2, guys. Where is DeepSeek R2? I mean, we had rumors that they were accelerating and they were thinking of releasing it sooner. Where is DeepSeek R2? Grok 3.5, that will be so bad, guys. I would say tomorrow, Grok, yeah. Also, where is DeepSeek R2? Yes, DeepSeek R2, guys. Where is DeepSeek R2? I mean, we had rumors that they were accelerating and they were thinking of releasing. I think DeepSeek R2 will be a moment where, all the non-techies and those who are not into AI, even they will be, all the news outlets, they will also get excited. The DeepSeek effect will play again, I guess. Could it be that the model has actually, the model is actually not that good and they might be, holding it back? The news outlets, they will also get excited. The DeepSeek effect. I've heard that the Meta is actually, delaying the release of Behemoth. The model has actually, the model is actually not that good and they might be, holding it back. Yeah, guys. So I was. Let me get into the point. What I think is, what Claude is doing is the same thing what Meta was doing. So Meta was training the bigger model Behemoth, and at various checkpoints they actually distilled smaller models from Behemoth, and that is the Scout model and the Maverick model that we see. Maybe this is what Claude Anthropic was also doing. They were training Claude for Opus right from the beginning, but at various checkpoints they were using that model to train the smaller Sonnet model, and they were releasing various checkpoints, that is Claude 3.6 Sonnet and 3.7 Sonnet.
Eve to me is basically freedom. It's a giant
model to train the smaller Sonnet model, and they were releasing various checkpoints. Maybe this could be true if they actually don't release like Claude 4.5 Opus or something like that. That is something we have to see. If they don't release a model like that, then we can, I think, safely assume that they are training a bigger model, and these intermediate versions are the smaller Sonnet model. By the way, guys, in the benchmarks, Sonnet model is absolutely amazing. I mean, the performance is on par with Claude 4 Opus, and in some benchmarks it actually surpasses it. Okay, so we have an error. Am I out of credits? Let me actually see that. No, I'm not out of credits, so let's hit continue test and that should work. Okay, now we are continuing. That's nice. By the way, guys, the more questions it has, the more the questions, the more accurate the percentage is. So if you are consistently seeing 36, that could be the percentage where it ends up with. So we'll have to see. By the way, guys, the more questions it has, the more the questions, the more accurate the percentage is. So if you are consistently seeing 36, now the average time has actually increased. I think it is moving into harder and harder questions, and now the average time is 23 seconds. Yeah, to be honest, Gemini 2.5 Pro seems the most balanced according to my experience. And yeah, have you seen my website? Let me actually see if I'm able to open up that. So this is my website. You can have a look at it. If I go to model recommendations, you can see the best reasoning model according to me is OpenAI O3, and I have not made a video on it. But I will say, guys, OpenAI O3 is way smarter than Gemini 2.5 Pro. I don't know LM Arena and everything, but according to my testing, my point of view, OpenAI O3 is way smarter in reasoning. Talking about the best max model is absolutely O4 Mini High. Even in the AIME 2025, it scores 92%, somewhere around that, and the second model is Claude 4 Opus. Talking about the best backend coding model, again it's OpenAI O3 according to me. The front-end coding models, as we know, when it comes to design and aesthetics, I mean like there is no comparison, and Claude 3.7 Sonnet thinking is the best front-end coding model. But there is a big but, guys. The best overall model according to me is Gemini 2.5 Pro. So why do I think so? Let me open up the pop-up, and this is the reason I've mentioned. Why do I think so? Gemini 2.5 Pro is not the best pick when it comes to reasoning, max, front-end or back-end coding, but it's a very close second in most of the domains and offers perfect balance of all traits, although not being the best. So Gemini 2.5 Pro is not the best model, guys, but it is a very close second in most of the domains. I mean, when it comes to reasoning, it is the second best. When it comes to max, it could be second or third, or maybe a bit farther than that, but you get it. It is one of the top. When it comes to backend coding as well, it is close second. When it comes to front-end coding, a close second. So it is either first or second. But if you talk about, OpenAI O3, it is very good at backend coding, designing if you want to do any fine tuning or train a model, something like that, Python code, TensorFlow, things like that. OpenAI O3 will be very good at it. But when it comes to design, it is absolutely pathetic. I mean, like there is no comparison. Similarly, it stands for Claude 3.7 Sonnet as well. It is very good in front end, but other things like reasoning and everything, it is not very good. That is the reason I have selected the best overall model as Gemini 2.5 Pro, but this is currently outdated. Because Claude 4 has released, and we'll have to see if Opus shakes the titles. That is the reason I have selected the best overall model as Gemini 2.5. According to Menesa test benchmark, yeah, I have seen that. And in my recent video that I've just posted a few hours back, I have mentioned that OpenAI O3 is kind of not focusing too much into coding, I guess. They are more into reasoning, building a smarter model, and getting into what can we say, scientific discovery kind of model. And Claude is clearly getting into coding because that is where it excels, I guess. And even months and months go by and people stay by Claude models, so maybe Claude is just focusing on coding, and you have these two diversions. But again, just as we saw in the models as well, how O3 and Claude take different paths, but Gemini is kind of a middle ground. Similarly is for the companies as well. So OpenAI is more into building a smarter model, Claude is more into coding, and Gemini is doing doing all of that. How O3 and Claude take different paths, but Gemini is kind of a middle ground. Similarly is for the companies as well. So OpenAI is more into building a smarter model, Claude is more into coding, and Gemini is doing all of that. By the way, guys, you can go and have a look on my website. That helps me and supports the channel. So all my questions that are mentioned in my testing and my model recommendations will be visible on that website. So the website is linked in my description. You can go and have a look. By the way, guys, let's have a look at the test, and I think now it's down to 35%. Being best in coding or math? That's a tough question. So I think things are actually interrelated. I think the reason that Claude models are good in coding is the one is aesthetics, and that is a very different tangent. That is not going to lead into scientific discovery. So aesthetics, we can keep that aside. Keeping that aside, Claude models don't have anything special besides the fact that they are very good in agentic workflows. That is the reason they are performing very good in cursor and everything. I think that is the only plus point that Claude models have. They are very good in agentic tasks. Other than that, they are not very good in other things like reasoning, max. We'll have to see what Claude for Opus does. Talking about your question, I think reasoning and max are kind of interrelated. So the model has to be good in reasoning, I guess. They are not very good in other things like reasoning, max. We'll have to see what Claude for Opus does. Talking about your question, I think reasoning and max are. The reason I'm not selecting max is because I think the problem with it is the frontier math benchmark is a very good benchmark. That is where PhD level researchers have actually built the questionnaire. So that if you talk about that benchmark, then I think that is a very good representation of scientific discovery. So if a model actually surpasses that and saturates that benchmark, then that model should be very capable. Talking about other benchmarks, you might have, as we talked about previously, the smaller models are actually scoring higher. So that makes me doubt about max. How the smaller models are clearly not smarter than the bigger models. When you chat with the models, it is very evident that the smaller models are not better, but still they score higher in max. So that is the reason I'm not considering max. I think reasoning and frontier math should be a very good benchmark. I think the best thing is frontier math benchmark, humanities last exam, ARC-AGI 2. These are the benchmarks that are very nice. And I don't know for what reason even Google didn't consider those benchmarks in their results, and even Claude didn't do that. Anthropic didn't do that. The reason could be that actually these models are not smart. Maybe Gemini 2.5 Pro is not as smart as OpenAI O3. In my personal testing, I think I have seen that OpenAI O3 is way smarter than Gemini 2.5 Pro if you talk about just intelligence. So also creative writing, brainstorming, and they have a nice personality. And yeah, I think this is also the case. It's pretty much about raw intelligence. Yeah, raw intelligence. Talking about creative writing, I think there is no competition to Gemini 2.5 Pro. OpenAI GPT 4.5. That model is very good at prompting. Whenever I have to create any prompts for text to image models or for other models, I always use that model. That model is very good at prompting. It just gets the work done. Whatever you envision in your mind that this should be the end result, that is what you get. And that is the reason I was talking about this orchestrated model. A model, that kind of oversees other agents and other models. GPT 4.5 will be a very good model. I think GPT 4.5 should be the model that actually talks to us in GPT 5. That is the reason I was talking about this orchestrated model. And other models like O4 Mini kind of oversees other agents and O4, they should be like side workers. that work below GPT 4.5. 4.5 should be the model that actually talks to us in GPT 5. And other models like O4 Mini and O4. Yeah, but again, GPT 4.5 is very pricey. Very pricey. I mean, that work below GPT 4.5. I have used OpenAI O3 and I have not seen my credits and my balance going down very steeply. Yeah, but again, when it comes to GPT 4.5, I can actually see it. I have used OpenAI O3 and I have not seen. I was once trying to actually test GPT 4.5 on this benchmark and I ran out of credits. Very steeply. When it comes to GPT 4.5, I can actually see it. You may find this benchmark interesting and find it to be really thorough and good. So, did you share a link? Because I don't see any link. Maybe you can type that and I will search it. One more benchmark that I find is very good is Simple Bench. That is very nice. So, did you share a link? Because I don't see any link. Maybe you can type that and I will search it. One more benchmark that I find is very good is Simple Bench. That is very nice. The benchmark, I think that was created with collaboration with AI Explained. A very good channel actually, you should follow that. So I think they released Simple Bench and the concept behind Simple Bench, I guess, is overcomplicating the question so that the model actually confuses. But it seems to be working because models don't get it. So I think they released Simple Bench and the concept behind Simple Bench, I guess, is you can search nerdy novelist. The question so that the model actually. Let me search. But it seems to be working because models don't get it. You can search nerdy novelist.
We have a problem. Now the AI is here.
Okay, the channel seems to be on AI tutorials and I think yeah, the channel seems to be good. That's the first time I've heard about it. But the channel seems to be good. That's nice. Yeah, the channel seems to be good. Looking at the percentages, guys, now the percentage has dropped to 34.6 and it's very close to 3.7 Sonnet, guys. But the channel seems to be good. That's nice. Looking at the percentages, guys, now the percentage has dropped to 34.6 and it's very close to 3.7 Sonnet, guys. I'm waiting for the thinking models to actually drop on Open Router. That is when I can actually go into the testing of these models. Yeah, I think people can differ, but personally I have seen, let me actually be very clear with it. So let me just again go on to my website. So I'll go to model recommendations. Maybe, yeah. So best creative writing according to me is GPT 4.5. I have mentioned that. But the best conversational model is Claude 3.7 Sonnet according to me. I mean, like when you will have a conversation with the model, Claude 3.7 Sonnet felt more good to me. And GPT 4.5, has this weird behavior, which is same with all OpenAI models, that they will keep on asking questions. That is not how you talk, guys. I mean, like when you are having a conversation with someone, the other person just, he or she doesn't always ask questions. Sometimes they will pause and you ask question or things like that. So GPT 4.5 and any model from OpenAI has this tendency of asking question in every response. That is the reason I have not given that the best conversational model. Maybe that could be related to what you are mentioning in the chat. But I think preferences can differ. Okay guys, now it's actually at 33.8%. The percentage is actually going very high and low, guys. I hope that sound is still that nice to use over longer chats. Yeah, having longer conversations. I think GPT-4o is currently fine-tuned to have good conversation, I guess. I mean, like they are training that model, I mean, like churning that model so much that now it feels like a default in ChatGPT. I mean, you have this GPT 4.5 model, but it is not particularly trained or fine-tuned for having a chat conversations. Whereas GPT-4o, you can see it has gone over iterations and iterations. Feels like a default in ChatGPT. You have this GPT 4.5 model, but it is not particularly trained or fine-tuned for having a chat conversation. Whereas GPT-4o, okay, we have crossed the 100 mark and we have successfully solved 103 questions. So 33 more to go. Then Claude 3.7 Sonnet will be defeated. I'm very eager to actually test the front-end capabilities of Claude 4 Opus. I mean, every single time the Claude models come up with something that absolutely stunning to look at. I'm very eager to actually test the front-end capabilities of Claude 4 Opus. I mean, every single time the Claude models come up with something that absolutely stunning to look at.
50%.
By the way, guys, do hit the like button. That actually helps the algorithm and me as well. So do make sure to hit the like button. Is this ARC2 or ARC1? This is ARC1 and public dataset of ARC1. So they haven't released the public dataset of ARC2, so I can't test on. I mean, like ARC2 is very hard. I mean, like these models can't even score this much when it comes to ARC2. But yeah, when it comes to non-reasoning models, you can see it is far from saturated. I can't test on. I mean, like ARC2 is very hard. I mean, like these models can't even score this much when it comes to ARC2. And it actually gives us a very good idea of, you know, which model rank higher and lower. Non-reasoning models, you can see it is far from saturated. Welcome. So far, yeah, O3 is, I mean, like, can you, let me tell you guys, O3 is a very smart model, guys, a very smart model. Gemini 2.5 Pro is not as smart as OpenAI O3. I mean, LM Arena and everything. I mean, like, you know, you guys know about LM Arena, guys. You know, there have been days where GPT-4o was at the top. I mean, like, can you even imagine? That doesn't mean LM Arena is bad, but when a model is released, the initial hype days, somehow that model actually ranks the higher. But once that initial hype has gone, then I think LM Arena is very good. So why I was mentioning this is because Google was all about LM Arena on their I/O event and they were mentioning it as the best model, but according to me, that's my point of view, OpenAI O3 is the smarter model. I was planning to make a video on it, but Claude released their Claude 4 Opus and now the plans have changed. Google was all about LM Arena on their I/O event and they were mentioning it as For some weird reason, I have this thought that maybe in my reasoning questions, maybe Claude 4 Opus will be not as good as OpenAI O3. I don't know. I'm just guessing at this point. We'll have to see, but in my reasoning questions, maybe Claude 4 Opus will be not as. If it turns out to be actually better than OpenAI O3, then it's nice. But the price, guys, the price of this model is absolutely bonkers.
Looking for the best proxies, data impulses here. With us, you get
Guys, I had a thought. Imagine this. So the price for Claude 4 Opus is $15 per million input tokens and $75 per million output tokens. Imagine OpenAI releases O3 Pro on the same price. What do you guys think about that? I think that is something that they can do to counter the release from Google and Claude, because they have to release O3 Pro anyways, and most probably they will be accelerating that given the release of Claude. If they release at the same price of Claude for Opus, then that is going to be crazy, guys. But even then, OpenAI O3 Pro will use more time to think. So it should end up costlier, I guess. Okay guys, so just 2 more questions and then after that there will be last 5 questions. Yeah, hourly rate limits, I mean like it's too hard. That's the reason I am not, I don't even remember when I had the Claude subscription. I think it was Claude 3.5 Sonnet era. After that I didn't use Claude's web interface. 50 messages per week. Imagine this, guys, 50 messages per day of O3 Pro. Absolutely bonkers. What else could we ask for? But I guess for most of the tasks, Gemini 2.5 Pro is very nice, guys. I mean, it does most of the job. I think most of my coding tasks, I use Gemini 2.5 Pro and it does the job. And I mean, like, if you explain it even vaguely in the prompt, it understands things. There could be some hit and miss, but it does the job for me. Yeah, 50 messages per week, yes. That is nice to see. I hope they release O3 Pro to Plus users. I mean, like, Plus users are feeling left over. Currently I'm using the free plan of ChatGPT. I have to say that compared to the free plan, Plus is nice, but you could be a bit lenient on Plus users and give more perks. Okay, just 8 questions. If it gets 8 questions correct, guys, it will rank at the top. But the increment is not that high. The previous was 34.3 and this model is landing somewhere around 35, 36. So very slight improvement. You know, these models are kind of getting stuck around the 30% mark. But the increment is not that high. The previous was 34.3 and this model is landing somewhere around 35, 36. So very slight improvement. You know, these models are kind of getting stuck around the 30% mark. I wonder when OpenRouter will actually, update the thinking versions of Claude 4 models. That is when I will actually get into testing and I'm waiting for that. Okay, 25 questions remaining and just 4 more to get right. We can safely say that I think this model is going to land somewhere around 36. As I said at the start, I guess. Okay, 25 questions remaining and just 4 more to get right. So I will have to clearly update some credits because we have to get ready for Claude 4 Opus. I mean, that model is what 3 times pricier, so this model so according to my calculation, Claude 4 Opus is going to empty my credits. We have to get ready for Claude 4 Opus. I mean, that model is what 3 times pricier, so this model so according to my calculation, Claude 4 Opus is going to empty my credits. Okay guys, just one more question. And we'll have the new winner. And I think most probably that will be very short-lived. And that's a tie. Just one more question. So, according to the polls, 83.8% of you guys have said that we'll have a new number one spot. So we'll be having two new number one spots actually. The first being Claude 4 Sonnet, but it will be short-lived. It will be soon followed by Claude 4 Opus, and I think according to the logic, Claude 4 Opus should beat, right? Claude 4 Sonnet. So we'll be having two new number one spots actually. Okay, this is getting interesting, guys. Just 9 questions left. It has to get one more right. According to the logic, Claude 4 Opus should beat, right? Claude 4 Sonnet. Okay, this is getting interesting, guys. Just 9 questions left. It has to get one more right. Just one more, come on. Okay, that was a failure. Okay, now we have the new winner. Finally. It is so close, guys, so close. I think it could be just margin of error. Okay, now it's actually interesting. It got 140.
New Eden.
So close. I think it could be just margin of error. Okay, now it's... The difference between Claude 3.5 Sonnet and 3.7 Sonnet was good. 7 questions. But the difference is not so much when it comes to Claude 3.7 Sonnet and Claude 4 Sonnet. You know, it's just 3 questions. Until now. Okay, it's done. The difference between Claude 3.5 Sonnet and 3.7 Sonnet was good. 7 questions. I predict Opus will have 37.5. That is very less, guys. I mean, it should score higher. Okay, so it has got 140 questions. You can see we have the new rank, Claude Sonnet 4 at. Okay, it's done. With exactly 35% accuracy. Not much of a leap. So let's now bring the big boy in. So the leaderboards have updated. Let me get into the testing and let me get the API name for Claude 4 Opus. Now bring the big boy in. So the leaderboards have updated. Let me get into the testing and let me get the API name. Okay, guys. Testing time. So I have entered the name. Test all questions. Let me add the logo. And the big boy is here. Claude 4 Opus, guys. testing time. So I've entered the name, test all questions. Let me add the logo. Let me actually start a new poll. Boy is here. An interesting one. Claude for Opus, guys. Okay guys, so I've started a new poll and we'll have to see guys if this model actually gets rate limited, because if we get rate limited issues, then I think things can go wrong. The testing can go wrong. We can get wrong results. I have to see that. Most probably the demand for this model is very high. That is the reason we are hitting rate limits. Well, if it will have above 40%, I will impress. Yeah, guys. We'll have to see. So there is a 100% chance that this model will not cross 40%. The chat is pretty confident. One thing that we have to actually note, guys, is we don't see more errors over here. If we see test errors, that means that there was some issues and that will be kind of invalid. The real contender shall be Gemini 2.5 Pro in my honest opinion. So here we are actually testing the non-thinking models. So yeah, I'll be doing a comparison. So a head-to-head between Gemini 2.5 Pro and OpenAI O3 and Claude 4 Opus. Yeah, I'll be doing a comparison. So a head-to-head between Gemini 2.5 Pro and OpenAI O3 and Claude 4 Opus. Okay guys, so now I'm seeing my bank balance dropping pretty rapidly. And this is reminding me of GPT 4.5. Okay guys, so now I'm seeing my bank balance dropping pretty rapidly. I will have to monitor this so that the test doesn't stop. If it has to be above 40%, I think it should at least test 60% once. It should go near 55, 56, somewhere around that. That could be a slight indication that it will, end up somewhere around above 40. And that doesn't seem to be the case over here there. It has to be above 40%, I think it should at least test 60% once. It should go near 55, 56, somewhere around that. That could be a slight indication that it will, end up somewhere around above. That doesn't seem to be the case. I hope the test actually goes on smoothly, because if we see API issues, then that will be a problem. Then the test will actually be invalid. I hope the test actually goes on smoothly, because okay guys, my balance is falling pretty rapidly. Any super chat will be very helpful. Just asking. Looking at the scores, it is again roaming around that 36-37%, and that doesn't seem very promising actually. Very helpful. Just asking. Looking at the scores, it is again roaming around that 36-37%. So in the chat you actually mentioned 37.5. Why do I think that could be the score where it lands at? Why do I think that could be the score where it lands at? Guys, looking at this test, I don't know why, but I have this feeling that maybe Claude 4 Opus thinking might not be smarter than OpenAI O3. Okay, you were right then, and you were right. You are right now as well, I guess. That chess match was absolutely insane. Okay guys, so now it has actually entered 28.2%, and Claude 4 Sonnet never actually went that low. What's going on? I didn't expect this happening. Let me actually see if Claude 4 Opus is the model that's been using. Let me actually go into the usage and okay, so we are indeed using Claude 4 Opus, and the providers are actually changing. that is something which is evident. Okay, so we are indeed using Claude for Opus and the providers are actually changing. That is something which is evident. But same was true with Claude 4 Sonnet as well. So guys, it's not looking good, guys. I mean, what's happening? Is something going wrong? But same was true with Claude 4 Sonnet as well. So guys, it's not looking good, guys. I mean, hey, welcome to the live stream. Is something going wrong? Yeah, I mean, it is very weird, guys. I mean, how is this? Hey, welcome. Performing so bad? Could it be that the load is very high on the GPUs and that is actually degrading the performance? I've heard about this, that when the load is very high, then the performance actually degrades. Could it be that? Anyways, guys, I mean, like, I don't remember Claude 4 Sonnet getting into 27%, right, guys? I didn't see that model going into 27% or below 30. But Claude 4 Opus is going actually lower. Anyways, guys, I mean, like, I don't remember Claude 4 Sonnet getting into 27%, right, guys? I didn't see that model going into 27% or below 30. But Claude 4 Opus is going actually lower. You know, results like this actually make me believe that we are hitting a plateau. I expect Claude 4 Opus to be significantly better. Even, you know, at some points it should have hit the 60% mark, but that doesn't seem to be the case. I expect Claude 4 Opus to be significantly better. Even, you know, at some points it should have hit the 60% mark, but that doesn't seem to be the case. Yeah, we have got Claude 4 before GTA 6. By the way, guys, the performance is actually very bad. And you can look at the expected and the predicted outcomes. In the previous one, actually, they were very distinct. most likely guys it could be that the load for this model is actually very high. That could be the reason we are seeing degraded performance, but we'll see. Let's just wait if actually Claude 4 Opus does a comeback, but the performance is not up to the mark, guys. I mean, I am now seriously doubting even if it will cross Claude Sonnet 4. We are seeing degraded performance, but we'll see. Let's just wait if actually Claude 4 Opus does a comeback, but the performance is not up to the mark, guys. I mean, I am now seriously doubting even if it will cross Claude Sonnet 4. Good morning. We are seeing some rate limit issues, guys. Good morning. We are seeing some rate limit issues, guys. So you can look at the error, guys. So they are mentioning high demand for Anthropic Claude 4 Opus on open router, limited to 3 requests per minute. So we are repeatedly getting this issue, and this is actually kind of altering the results. So maybe so you can look at the error, guys. So we can test Claude 4 Opus someday, guys, some other day, guys. Maybe I'm thinking about stopping this test. So we are The reason being that one, the performance of the model is actually not that good. Also, second, we are hitting, this rate limit issue. Maybe when the load is actually slightly lesser than the model's performance could be good, but right now we are repeatedly hitting the errors, guys. So let's actually pause this test. We'll do this once again. So let's stop the test. Okay, so I think Claude 4 Sonnet will have some more time to be on the first rank. You can see this is the current leaderboard. Let's stop the test. Okay, so I think Claude 4 Sonnet will have some more time to be on the first rank. Yeah, very surprising results. I mean, it is very weird, guys. I mean, it was going somewhere around the 20% mark, 27% and things like that. Yeah, very surprising results. And also, you might have seen that we didn't hit any kind of rate limit issues in Claude 4 Sonnet. That was happening specifically with Claude 4 Opus. So we'll do this test again, guys. Maybe a few days after this. Because clearly we are hitting API issues, and also the performance is actually very bad, and this could be because of the load, the pressure, the load which is there on the GPUs. That could be the issue as well. Okay, so this is the current leaderboard, guys. By the way, you can go over to my website yjxai.in and check my recommendations, also the various questions that I use in my test and everything. The link will be in the description of this video. So with that being said, guys, I'll catch you guys in the next one.